Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the electronic system. Something? Jam the electronic system? Say, there's something else that seems to be out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this. Let's go ahead and fast forward. Whee! Now, when you see it open... Uh-oh. See this thing just fell out? Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed earlier. Okay, everything seems to be going nicely. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out of when the doors are open. I often fall out and roll a great distance when I open my... We can't be sure. That item was in the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggered the lock when the door is shut. What if something was, inserted, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of the patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, it's just... But the object would have had to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would have to also have something to block electrical currents. It would need to be insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present relevant evidence? What was the insulator? This is actually really simple. Rubber glove. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure it was in the victim's locker. It has a tag on it that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp assesses this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir! It would appear so, sir! Order! Order! So are we to believe then that the victim whom the witness stabbed in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. Misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated the possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecutor will offer one more prosecution will also offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Mickens, please testify about this. Sir! Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh! You mean that, sir? Of course, sir! Is this a joke? Very well. Begin your testimony. Alright, here we go again. There's one other thing that proves that the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, you must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record, I see. I have the ID record right here, Your Honor. The ID card used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involved police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Alright. Hold it! Let it be noted that this is the record that the witnesses were referring to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Mommy, is that man in the blue a murderer? Shh! Don't stare at him. You've got the wrong color, kid. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. Must be so difficult for him. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked? Everything stems from the contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with the ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. Okay. Wait one moment, Officer Minkins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at this crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something was to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high possibility. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing, and it doesn't require much thought. The man Officer Minkins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Whew. Order! 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 Does the prosecution have any response? I have only one thing to say to this defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man Officer Minkins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman. There was two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at one single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murderer in the evidence room is also a fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... Well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to pointing your finger around. This isn't good. Well, well. It seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth! The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murderer did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So, So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed at the moment the defendant used the murderer's weapon. Ugh! Oh crap, what did we just do? I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activities in the evidence room leave many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Minkins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial proposes that they examine the only murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Okay,